cannot deny that India and England have had another fabulous arm wrestle again, and it's been competitive and spicy.
Oh, it has. And it's been beautiful to watch, purely from an Indian point of view, because this team is going to be around for some time now. And a draw like this, when everything was against them, for them to come back in this test after having literally losing 0 for 2 and almost feeling like everything was done, for them to come back and leave it at 425 for 4 was quite astounding. In many ways, I think it's one of the better draws that India has seen.
Let's get it out of the way. What did you make of the last half an hour or so?
I didn't have a problem with it, Wardy. I mean, I know England seemed to have a problem with it. They were a little bit tired bowlers, tired legs. They wanted to get off. The two lads have worked hard to get into the 80s and 90s. They wanted test match hundreds. Stokes didn't have to bowl Brook, and it looked a bit silly at the end there, but we make far too much of these things. They played well. They deserved a draw. They deserved to be there at the end. All credit to India. It's only England's second ever draw under this Bazball regime. The other one on this ground as well because of rain. This one a draw simply because England wouldn't roll over, and those two left-handers were brilliant.
Sensational application from these two, and courage as well, because you're going to have to wear a few. They carried on the real hard work from KL Rahul and Shubman Gill.
Two all-rounders, two players who are going to be very important in the near future. One very experienced, another one who's just finding his feet in international cricket, just playing his 12th test match, never played 3 test matches in a row almost. So for him to come here, apply himself, look, he batted at number 8 in the first innings. For him to come out here at number 5 because Pant wasn't around, to show that kind of determination, courage, skill. And Jadeja, we've seen he's a warrior in this series. Every time India has needed it, he's got 4 50s on the bounce, missed out in the first innings, came back here and again got 100. It's not actually the numbers. It's, for me, the way they have gone about it. It literally, at one point around lunch and a little bit after lunch, you could see that India was so sure that they could do something like this on a pitch which had so much. In the morning session, it was keeping low, it was coming at you, and you're thinking, oh my God, this is another grey, clouded day where it's going to be hard for India, but they really fought, and that attitude is what is going to keep them in good stead.
What about Dawson bowling to the left armers? It's an interesting one when you look at it, because England a while ago put a lot of faith in Rehan Ahmed, picked him very young. They took Hartley away. They wanted tall bowlers. That's why they went for Bashir. They've gone to the experience of Liam Dawson, 2 left-handers with a lot of rough, and he failed to continually and consistently hold that line outside off stump.
Yeah, he didn't hit the holes enough, he didn't hit the rough enough. I don't think there was a lot of rough, there was some rough. I think that's why I've said throughout this test match, you get very excited at Old Trafford and you think the whole thing's going to disintegrate, it's going to go up and down, it's going to turn square. And you have to look at county championship cricket here, it doesn't do that. And the only ones that actually win games are wrist spinners here. And that's why I was surprised maybe Kuldeep could have played for India. So he'll be disappointed that he didn't find the rough that was there for the left-handers. That's when you come in English cricket, second innings, bit of rough, left-handers, that's your job, and he didn't quite do it. But it's a classic thing of you're always a better player when you're out the side. When he was out the side, everyone's saying, oh, Dawson, get Dawson in. He's only played 1 game after 8 years. You can't now flip that around and go, oh, Bashir would have bowled him out. Well, we don't know that. Hartley would have bowled him out. Rehan Ahmed would have bowled him out. The lad's played 1 game. He didn't quite get it right. He got some runs. The catch, I thought, was important, that he dropped Shubman Gill on 46. I thought Archer just after lunch, he was the key man. Left-handers, newish ball, 2 left-handers. He's England's best bowler to left-handers. He didn't get it quite right. They played beautifully. It's hard work getting 20 wickets, and England found that out in this game. Also tired bowlers, Cass and Wokes, and Stokes, I think, couldn't bowl after that long spell up front.
Yeah, both sides will have challenges in terms of who they're going to select for the next one. Let's go to India's captain. He has been an absolute run machine. We know how elegant he can be. He had to do it tough on this pitch with some of the bowling that he faced.
I think this is probably the most hard-working 100 in the series so far. He came in under a lot of pressure in that Leeds test, got that 100. It must have relieved him, and then batted like an absolute run machine in that Edgbaston test. Just wouldn't get out. But today was about taking body blows. It wasn't easy. It was doing so much. Stokes was getting it to kick and keep low from there. And he got a few blows, one on the glove, one into the helmet, all of that. But he just stood there like a rock, played time, stitched together a beautiful partnership with KL Rahul. It was actually when he walked in 0 for 2, just getting past that hat-trick, and that moment with that newish ball, and when you felt that India had no chance probably, for him to do that and now sit at the top of that list, 722, going past Yashasvi Jaiswal for the highest run getter ever in an India-England series. I think he's onto something special as a leader.
It's quite a lot of runs, and it's 722 with a test match to go. But this one has been drawn. A hard-fought game of cricket. So those bowlers particularly will have to be assessed on both sides, actually, the same for India. But England have spent a long time in the field, and if they're in the field at the Kia Oval starting on Thursday, that is going to be physically and mentally tough. So the series, though, is still alive as we head to the capital. Stuart has joined myself and Nasser. What have you made of the test match you've been watching and commentating on?
Well, I thought it was a fantastic test match up until the last hour, really, where India had done all the hard work. I think the pitch, I don't think there's been a result in red ball cricket here all year. I think it was, and you had another day, 5 day, for it not to get a result will disappoint Ben Stokes and the England management, I think, of what they're trying to play on. But I thought India battled incredibly hard after being non for 2 to end up 425 for 4. I was just surprised the pitch didn't break up a little bit more. When Stokes was bowling this morning and a couple went up and one went down to KL Rahul, I thought, okay, this pitch is going to show some character. And then the lunch break came and nothing seemed to happen. But huge credit to the mindset of India, really, to have battled their way to a draw here, having conceded over 650. I think India will go with a bit more energy in the legs to the Oval on Thursday, but also with a little bit of a shift of momentum in the series.
Stokes touched on it there. The two left-handers were the key, because bowling from the Sir Jimmy Anderson end, what Stokes did this morning, all of it was to the right-handers, and that line was perfect and his angle was perfect, so it's all there. The moment it's a left-hander, that's not in play at all. So the fact that two, and then the 3 drop catches as well, it's hard enough getting 20 wickets here. If they do take Jadeja, first ball, tough one to root. If they took Gill yesterday, hard one to Pope, those chances you have to take. But they worked hard, the pitch in the end won. Extra couple of days, will that make a difference for the Indian bowlers? Bumrah have had, put their feet up for a day and a half now compared to an exhausted England bowling attack?
Absolutely it will, yeah. But, Siraj has played every test match like Wokes and Cars. Bumrah has played back-to-back now. Will he play a fourth in the series? We're unsure, but I'd expect them to have changes anyway, India. I don't think that it was the most powerful bowling unit you're ever going to see. And if they're going to have to take 20 wickets to level the series in the Oval, they have to change that bowling attack.
Yeah, can I ask you a question? Say Broad, Bumrah, right? If you were in a similar position going to the Oval and you'd had injuries and you'd said 3 games, how would that conversation start? Would it be the captain and you, so Gill and Bumrah, or is it Gill and the backroom staff and you take Bumrah out of the equation?
No, you can't take the bowler out of the equation. He's the only one who knows how his body feels, how confident he would be to get through another test match. What did he bowl? 33 overs, I think, in that innings. Crucially, he's only bowled once. It's a big difference where someone like Wokes has bowled first innings, come back and had to do it again second innings. So Wokes will feel his legs a little bit more than Jasprit Bumrah. I suppose it's that question that Shubman Gill has to sit down with his main strike bowler and go, how are you feeling? The Oval pitch will suit you more than Old Trafford. Can you fire up and give us something through that test match without feeling like you'll break? If he's got niggles, if his ankles are sore and his sides are tight and he feels like if he bowls 20 overs his side might rip, then he's declaring himself unfit to play test match cricket. But he needs some help from the other end as well. Siraj has tried his best throughout this series and had moments of excellence, particularly sort of Root and Stokes in 2 balls at Edgbaston. But the rest of that bowling attack on a surface like this didn't look overly impressive. But the Oval will offer them more. The Oval will bring the slips into play, the wicketkeeper into play. So you need a good bowling attack at the Oval.
Stokes player of the match. Can I ask you about his fifer? Why do you think he's found such lovely rhythm, and also he seems to have found more out of the pitches that we've had in the series, particularly here in Manchester, than any other England bowler?
Yeah, I thought that work Nasser did with Simon and Hawkeye, how he was landing his brace front leg, he's delivering the ball from higher. He's very fit, probably as fit as he's been for a long time, although he didn't necessarily look it this morning, hobbling in with a shoulder and a hamstring. But he's moving the ball the most out of all the England bowlers. He really is able to swing the ball. He's got the wobble seam ball that he's worked on really hard in the last year, particularly when he's rehabbed. He's coming back. You start at low intensity, and when you're at low intensity, you can work on your skills. And he's worked on this wobble seam that I think he delivered beautifully today to get KL Rahul. Actually, if you watch that back, it kept a bit low, but it was the wobble seam, caught a crack on the pitch and nipped back. So he's developed his skills beautifully, and he's actually, by quite a long distance, I think, England's best bowler at the moment.
Dinesh Karthik thinks he's the best bowler in the series so far, and I'm not going to argue with him. We've got two things here, Stokes' hamstring and Stokes' shoulder. I'm going to go to the shoulder because the hamstring seemed to clear up. Odd one, wasn't it? And there's always something, it seems, with Ben and his body at the minute. He was feeling it in the warm-up and then was in discomfort, real genuine discomfort when he was bowling.
I honestly don't know from day to day, what part of his body is going to hurt and how serious it is. Even at Lord's, before he put in that Herculean effort, he looked like, I think Stuart said he may not play the next game. And the next day he turned up and he got runs and then he bowled 10 over bursts. Then he goes in the hammy, or looks like he's gone in the bottom of the backside, for want of a better word, and you think, right, he may not bowl today, and then he's out there bowling, and then he bowls and he's done his arm, and a bowler, I haven't bowled that much in my life, but a bowler does his arm, you think that's him done, but he can still be England's best bowler with a dodgy hamstring and a dodgy shoulder. It's just the way he is.
Right, the other centurion maker, we know what Ben did with the bat, was phenomenal, up to number 2 in the charts.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say about him, the two of the cricketers I've admired most in my life as batters are Tendulkar and Ponting. I know there's also other greats on that list, and one of our own, Joe Root, listen to this sentence, he sits between Ricky Ponting and Sachin Tendulkar, and he does it with a smile on his face. He loves playing the game of cricket. He's just a joy that we've got him. He's a credit to the game. He's a top individual, and long may he continue. He won't worry about the record. He'll just worry about doing it for his team and doing it for his mate, Stokes. You know, Stokes has been there for him a lot. He had a difficult time as captain. He's got no bitterness about the present regime at all. He wants to do it for the present captain, and Ben Stokes will hope that his form and his hunger continue for a long time.
The only thing he would admit to me when we spoke to him at the cart was that he looked at the list and he thought, yeah, it's pretty cool, but he will genuinely appreciate those numbers in due course. When you did that lovely interview with him at home, he said as a younger man he was numbers driven. Now it's about winning moments in important passages of play to win the game.
Yeah, definitely. I do remember there was a little disappointment in him a few years ago when his average dropped below 50. I think it might have been during COVID or something, and maybe that has motivated him to move on, because since then he has just been absolutely outrageous. He's so consistent in what he delivers, and when you get him on a surface like we've seen here at Old Trafford, you just never feel like he's not going to score 100, do you? He's been awesome. He's a credit to the game. I think Nasser said he plays with a smile on his face. He looks relaxed. It's a great environment for him to be operating in, and he's leading that batting group quite wonderfully.
Talk to you a bit about something you and I picked up on. The relationship that Ben Stokes has with Jofra Archer. How do you see that dynamic working? This was at Lord's when Joff got hit a few down the hill, wanted to move the field, and Stokes just stood there with a stoic face.
I like it. Sorry, we've just been joined by Washington Sundar, but I like him. I like the fact that Ben knows what makes Jofra Archer tick. There's a huge amount of respect between the two of them. And I said to you the other game at Lord's, exactly the same happened. Stokes has that mentality, I'm your friend and I'll look after you, but I'm not your best friend. If you just don't quite get it right, I will have a word with you. But even here, you see him, he's having a word with him, but in a nice way. I think you know your premier fast bowler, you know your cricketers, you know what makes them tick. You'd have had Anderson and Broad. You'll know what to do with Anderson, and you might have to do something different to Broad. You'll play one off against the other. He'll know what makes Archer tick. And I think Archer actually is a better bowler when he is a bit fired up and his legs start pumping a little bit.
Let's look at what England might do when we move down to the capital and what the options are, if that will work, yeah. So obviously Bashir's not available. Bethel would be slightly off-field. The other bowlers that are sort of on the radar at the minute, Atkinson, who's only been playing second-team cricket for Surrey, Sam Cook, Jamie Overton, who has had a game, and Josh Tongue. What are you doing? How are you seeing that? Obviously you've got to assess these players, how they're feeling. But you know, Wokes, Archer, what do you do with him? How do you see it?
Well, that's the key. You assess the players, you see how they pull up. They've got a journey tomorrow to get down to London. They won't train on Tuesday, no chance. They'll go to the cryo chamber and sort of, you know, get themselves all iced up and try and freshen up as much as they can. Gus Atkinson, I think he's got to play, to be honest. I know he's not had any workload, but we need to see him.
Well, if he doesn't play, he'll go to Australia, having not played a test match for ages.
Yeah, well, since Zimbabwe, and hasn't, you know, been really challenged at top level test match cricket yet against a strong opposition. So I think we need to see him if they feel like his workload's up there. Castle looked pretty knackered, I thought, this test match, if I'm honest. He's been a trier throughout the series. He's given absolutely everything. But we didn't get a wicket in the test match. Looks like his sort of legs have left him a little bit for this series. So I think Atkinson probably gets the nod. You know, Josh Sung started the series, played the first two. I know he got mainly lower order players out, but he still took wickets. So you've got a natural replacement there for Archer, probably, because you know, we can't not have Archer for 4 years, bring him back and then bowl him into the ground and not see him for another 4 years, so to speak.
I also don't think you can have Archer playing 3 on the bounce after 4-year gap, Atkinson coming back for his first game after a long time, and Stokes, who's got a shoulder niggle, that being 3 of your 4 seamers. I think that would be a risk. So I would definitely play Atkinson if he's fit, and how that second game went body-wise. I'd play him on his home ground.
We'll see what England do, but as Ben said to Mel, they will have to assess the current players and see how they pull up. So this game has been drawn. Ben Stokes was the player of the match. We go to the Oval with the series still alive.